Hey everybody, and welcome to Rebel Reviews, where today I'm going to be picking and predicting the Oscar winners. Now, as you can see, this is my actual official face reveal, but not to be warned, I'm not going to take up the entire screen. I'm going to be superimposing the actual images of the Oscar nominees, as well as circling the pictures that I choose to predict and that I choose to pick as my personal winners on the screen. How does that sound? Yeah? Let's get into it. All right, and we are going to go by the the order that they were announced in. All right? Okay. All right. So first, we have nominees for an actor in a supporting role. Personally, I have not seen The Apprentice, nor have I seen A Complete Unknown just yet, but I am fixing that this week. So, good news. Neither of my picks nor predictions are going to be part of those two. But personally, I pick and predict Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. It's probably one of the most obvious awards this year. He's won almost every single other award, the SAG-AFTRA, the BAFTA. He's won pretty much everything, so it's almost a given. But the next one is a little more exciting because we have our nominees for costume design. Now, this one's a little bit more difficult. Personally, I would pick Nosferatu. But if I had to predict one, it's a little bit more difficult, but I do think that I'll go with Wicked. Just because I feel like Wicked's going to pull the Poor Things of last year, where it's probably going to win a lot of things that people might be like, oh, maybe it's going to win Best Picture. It's not going to. All right. Next, we have our nominees for makeup and hairstyling. Out of these ones, I just watched A Different Man just earlier this week, and it's so dang good. I would pick and predict The Substance, though I absolutely have to give a shout out to A Different Man just for how insane that film is. But yes, I'm picking and predicting The Substance for makeup and hairstyling. All right. Next, we go on to original score. This one is a little uninteresting this year, if I have to be honest. Just for lack of Dune Part 2. I honestly do think that it would have taken it, but this year I think I'm going to go with The Brutalist as my prediction. If I were to pick one of them, I would probably pick The Wild Robot, just because that score is basically exactly what I'm looking for in a score, which is really funny because it gives me reminders of How to Train Your Dragon, which is done by John Powell, who helped with the Wicked score. Little fun fact. All right. Then we have the live-action short film nominees. These ones, I have not seen any of them yet. I will be watching them later this week as well. I am probably going to pick and predict I'm Not a Robot. Let's go with that one. Animated short film is very similar. I have heard a lot of hype for In the Shadow of the Cypress, so let's go pick and prediction with that one. Yeah, that seems right. All right, next we have our nominees for adapted screenplay, where unfortunately I haven't seen Nickel Boys or Sing Sing, but again, I am rectifying that this week before the actual Oscars. But my personal pick and prediction is going to be for Conclave, but that easily could change this next week when I watch Nickel Boys and Sing Sing. I've heard they're fantastic. Next up is our nominees for original screenplay. This one, I have to be honest, is kind of boring looking at it. I really would have liked a Challengers nomination over September 5, as that movie was just so damn boring. Just very, very sloppy. But I do really love the A Real Pain screenplay as well as the Anora screenplay. So, pick and prediction is going to be Anora out of these ones. I could be very wrong with this one though, as The Brutalist totally could win. But I'm gonna stay with Anora. Then we have actress in a supporting role. This one, I really don't want to choose it. I don't want to predict it, but I think it's gonna happen. I predict Zoe Saldana is gonna win for Amelia Perez, and I think that might be one of the only awards it takes home that night. Which, if that's the case, I will be somewhat happy. But I personally would pick Ariana Grande out of these five. Just because it seems like she does the best with what she's given. Isabella Rossellini does do a great job as well. But I would pick Ariana Grande over the rest of this group. And then we have our nominees for original song. Gotta be honest, I don't want any of these aside from Like a Bird from Sing Sing to win. And I don't think that they're going to give anything from Amelia Perez. I don't think they're going to give it much. I don't think it's going to win this. They just gave Elton John an Oscar a few years ago for Rocket Man. I don't think that's happening again. And I don't think Diane Warren, my mortal enemy, I don't think she's going to get a nominee this year. Or I don't think she's going to get a win this year. I think it's going to be Like a Bird from Sing Sing. So my pick and prediction is Like a Bird from Sing Sing. And I know that's an extremely hot take, but I'm sticking with it. And just because that is what is most deserved. And I think that sometimes they do that, where they give it to the most deserved. All right, then we have our documentary feature film. I have seen 4 out of 5 of these. I still need to fully watch Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. But pick and prediction is going to be No Other Land. I think this year the Oscars and the Academy, I think they want to send a message that they almost never do. And I think that giving No Other Land the win will be the best way to send that message. At least I really hope so. And it looks likely, but there's always a chance that Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat could win, which I wouldn't be disappointed with, but I watched No Other Land and it was just magnificent. So I have no other pick and prediction than No Other Land for that category. Then we have documentary feature film or documentary short film, which is actually, hot take, one of my favorite categories this year. Almost every single nominee in this category I have loved, which is a far cry from last year. Last year I really didn't like most of the films, but this year my personal pick is Incident. Just a harrowing film. Just really, really good. And it deserves the win. And I don't see them giving it to any other one. I think Incident is going to be my prediction as well. Yeah, Incident's going to be my prediction as well. My pick and prediction goes to Incident. Very crazy film, but very, very good. One of my favorites of the year. Then we have international feature film. I'm actually still needing to see a few of these. If I was to pick all that I have seen, I would probably go with Flow, just for personal reasons. But I will be very happy if I'm Still Here wins, and I'm going to predict that I'm Still Here wins. Because it seems like there's some sort of surge with voting for I'm Still Here. I know Amelia Perez is absolutely the top dog in this scenario, but I really think that I'm Still Here is going to pull out a win. Speaking of Flow, we got our animated feature film, which is a stacked year. Stacked year. Personally, I probably would have switched out Inside Out with either Look Back or Transformers 1, but that's just personal bias. But if I were to pick and predict what's going to win this year, I think my pick is going to be Flow, and my prediction is going to be The Wild Robot. I think this is DreamWorks' year for the first time since Shrek, I believe. So I think this is their year to pull that out. I think it's their time. Then we got production design. This one is probably one of the easiest for me to pick and predict. I do love the production design in Nosferatu and in Dune Part 2, but I have got to go with Wicked as my pick and prediction, though always the Brutalist could slide in there and become a real contender. But I'm going to pick and predict the Wicked, not the Wicked. Wicked is my pick and prediction for this one. Just that Emerald City set is unreal. And I think it's beautiful, and it's probably one of the best parts of the film. So I'd say that. I'll stick with Wicked. Then we have the nominees for film editing. Really, really boring picks this year. I think Emilia Perez is the front runner for this one last time that I heard, but I could be extremely wrong. I don't feel good about it, but I'm going to predict Emilia Perez, but I'm going to pick Anora. Anora has some fun editing. Anora's snappy and quick, and I like that in a film. So, my pick and prediction for those ones are Anora and Emilia Perez. Ugh. Then we have our nominees for sound, which our nominees are, again, a little disappointing. Just Emilia Perez and Wicked, I don't feel like the sound is that good. The Wild Robot is a surprise in there as well. Not undeserved, but I don't entirely feel it. I think my pick and prediction for this one is Dune Part 2. Sadly, one of the few Oscars that it's going to take home this year. Just tragic what they did to this film. Speaking of Dune Part 2, it's also going to be my pick and prediction for best visual effects. There are some really good visual effects in Better Man and Alien Romulus, but Alien Romulus has that Ian Holmes CGI gross robot. Planet of the Apes looks good, but I think it's Dune's year again, and I think it's going to be my pick and prediction this year. In fact, I'm certain that it's going to win out of all of these. But who knows? Maybe Better Man will be an Oscar-winning film. That would be amazing. Then we have our cinematography nominees. We have some interesting ones. I'm always surprised with Pablo Larraín. I'm always surprised with his films getting a nominee because they're just always kind of surprising and kind of just random, and they're beautiful, obviously. It's just surprising what they do. My personal pick for these ones is gonna be Dune Part 2. And my prediction, this one's kind of hard just because I feel like there's three big ones that are definitely the front runners, but any of them could win. I'm going to go with The Brutalist for my prediction. Then we have our actors in a leading role. We're finally getting into the big stuff. This one just recently became a real big contender. Timothée Chalamet could totally steal this from Adrien Brody. Not steal. He could totally take this from Adrien Brody, which would be a big shocker, but also it kind of feels right. So I think that for these, I think Timothy Chalamet is going to be my prediction, at least. It could definitely be Adrian Brody, but I think I'm going to predict Timothy Chalamet. It seems kind of likely right now. And then I think my personal pick is also going to be Timothy Chalamet. I'll stick with that. Yeah. This one's a little harder, as I still need to see Sing Sing. But I think I'm going to stick with Timothy Chalamet being my pick and prediction for leading role. Then we have actress in a leading role. This one is very fun. I think it's pretty cut and dry that Demi Moore is going to win it, so I think she's going to be my prediction. I'm also kind of rooting for Mikey Madison, just because they both really do a really amazing job. But I do think Demi Moore is going to be my prediction. It would be really surprising if she lost, although I wouldn't be extremely surprised if Mikey Madison won over her. Anyone else would be an extreme surprise. Obviously, Cynthia Erivo and Carla Sofia Gascon, they're basically out of the race. Fernanda Torres could be an underdog, but I think Demi Moore is going to be my prediction, and Mikey Madison is my personal pick. That sounds right. Yeah. Second to last, we have directing. This one is a little interesting. I don't entirely know who's going to win this one. I think that Brady Corbet for The Brutalist could totally take it. But then again, I have this kind of just subtle feeling that Coralie Farge takes this. So I'm going... Oh, but Anora with Sean Baker, that's right. I think this is the year where they give it to Sean Baker. I think this is his year. I'm going to predict Sean Baker for Anora. And then my personal pick, hot take, I think it's also... No. Switching up. It's going to be Coralie Farge. Coralie Farge is my personal pick for best directing of this year. She did really well. It's only her second really major motion picture. Just astounding for a second outing. But yeah. Sean Baker is my prediction. Coralie Farge is my pick. That feels right. Yep. I'm going to stick with that one. And then last but not least, we have our Best Picture nominees. This one's honestly a real big tussle as well between... Obviously, Emilia Perez's chances, I feel like, fell off a week or two ago. Anora's chances really rose, but so did Conclave. Conclave could totally pull this out. My personal pick is going to be Dune Part 2. Just because that is such an amazing film, and I still get chills thinking about that ending. I know that they're probably going to do the Lord of the Rings thing and give him all of the awards for Dune Messiah. At least I hope that's the case. It could end up not being the case, and I would be severely disappointed. But I think Denis Villeneuve is going to get his roses a few years later down the line with Dune Messiah. But that is my personal pick, is Dune Messiah for Best Picture. And then for Best Picture prediction, I gotta say it's between Conclave and Anora. This is a crazy year with how it's turned out. But I think it's going to go to Anora. I think if Sean Baker is going to win Best Director, then I'm sure that Anora is going to win Best Picture as well. Yeah, that seems right. Yep, I'm gonna stick with Anora. I'm gonna stick with Anora. Part of me wants to go Conclave, but I think I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with Anora. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I think Anora is going to take the most awards that night, and I will see how it shakes out. This is an interesting year for a lot of the awards. I feel like a lot more interesting than last year and the year before, where a lot of things kind of just ran with it. And I don't think there's going to be a big outlier this year, but if I had to pick, I'd say either Anora or The Brutalist is going to take home the most awards. But we shall see on Sunday. I hope you guys all have a great week. I hope you enjoy a lot of really good films. Anything that you're able to watch, just have fun with it. But I will be recording a few more videos, and including I will be recording a reaction to the Oscars and how they go. Don't know if it's going to be live or with a face cam, but I will see, and I will update y'all later. But I will see y'all later, and I hope you enjoy any films that you go and see. Have a good one.